Allow me to preface this video by just asking a question. Have you ever had this urge to return to something like a show, game, movie, or something just because it feels nostalgic to you, then you're simply just let down because whatever you just consumed is just not as good as you remember it? Well, my friends, that happens to me all the time, and most recently it has happened to me with LEGO City Undercover, a game that was released on March 18th, 2013. That was over 10 years ago now. I was only 10 when this bad boy released to the public, and I remember my mom got this game for me for Christmas either the following year or this year. Being a child during these times, one of the coolest things to do was play and build with Legos. I would always get these Lego sets, but then I would just force my mom to build them for me. Aside from that though, I played a lot of LEGO video games, and I have a lot of fond memories of them. LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, LEGO Star Wars 3, LEGO Harry Potter, LEGO Lord of the Rings, LEGO Indiana Jones, you name it, and I probably own it. These games were amazing, timeless classics, and I am confident they still hold up today. That brings me back to LEGO City Undercover. Is this game truly as good as those games? Could it be better? Let's find out as I go through my journey of beating the whole game as I 100% it. This is the unlikely story of Andy, the LEGO Guru. Let's get started then, shall we? So as I played the game, I wrote things down. Things I liked, things I didn't like. And let's just say the list is very sporadic. Let's start out with the first few parts of the game. Well, when we begin, the first mission starts with being introduced to the main character, Chase McCain, and his sidekicks Frank Honey and Ellie. More about these guys later. Chase McCain was sent out of LEGO City because he brought down criminal mastermind Rex Fury. The person who testified against Rex was his love, Natalia. But Chase, being the clumsy oaf he is, gave her identity away, causing him to leave, I guess. Then Chase came back to LEGO City 2 years later and found out that Rex had escaped, and that's when the game takes place now. So, now that the plot is out of the way, I want to talk about what goes down in the first mission. The first mission is, drumroll please, about arresting clowns. Yep, clowns that robbed a bank. I think they work for Rex or something, but this is about the time I stopped caring. So you arrest the clowns, and some of them hide in these buildings, which you have to use your data scanner to find. This introduces you to your first minigame, which is to arrest some robbers. So you're not even playing the game yet, just a minigame inside the game. Yeah, I shit you not, there's about an hour of pointless gameplay until you're shoved into your first mission. There are 15 levels in this game. There are 15 chapters. Every level has this agonizing length of open world gameplay to get to the next level. And listen, I may have over-exaggerated there a bit, but it's so long in some cases. Anyway, when you arrest all the clowns, you get on the trail to Rex Fury, and you have to find out where he is, so you do some more stuff and monkey around until you're finally sent to an island called Albatross. Albatross is basically just like the Alcatraz of LEGO City. It holds dangerous criminals, such as Generic Criminal 1, Generic Criminal 2, Generic Criminal 3, Boxer, and the guy who hasn't been sent to Albatross yet. Yeah, these are some really cool criminals. But you're here to find this guy named Blue. Blue? Yeah, his name is Blue. He's a criminal or something, and he has the leads on Rex. Now I realize if I keep explaining every little level in this game, this video will be way too long. So as a quick and simple explanation, every level is lacking in almost some way. I'll just talk about the good levels and the bad levels. A good pros or cons, if you will. And before I start this pros and cons list, I need to say that if I don't mention a level on this list, it means I had no feelings for the level, and they're very mid and forgettable. So, let's start with the good levels. The first good level, in my opinion, was this level where Chase had to steal a diamond, and this shit was just fun, with interesting puzzles, and it kept me entertained, and almost as soon as I started playing it, it was over, and it reminded me of some of the LEGO Batman levels. It kept me entertained, and it was fun. I even like going back to this level and playing it again, just to get all the collectibles in it. It was fun. B. Now here's the peak of the game. Vinny's ice cream level. Holy shit, man. This one was such a blast to play. This was honestly such a well done level, and I think it tops some of the levels from the best LEGO games. To rebuilding Vinny when he's frozen and gets knocked over, to the rooms having their unique and intricate designs, to the puzzles being short and sweet. Dude, it's just awesome. I loved everything about this level, and it kept me invested the whole time going through. This is definitely where the game peaked. The plot of the level was good as an added bonus. Holy shit, I can talk about this masterpiece of a level for a while. This is an A, and it is well deserving of that A tier rating. This level is worth playing alone. It's so good, and you will remember it anytime you play any other LEGO game. It is a timeless masterpiece of a level. It's so good. I can't even explain everything that is so good about it in this one video. Getting back on track, another level that I really liked was the museum level. This level, you literally had to steal a fucking T-Rex for Rex Fury? I shouldn't even have to say anymore, honestly. That's all you need to hear. Anyway, stealing the T-Rex is just fucking badass, and it made for some interesting scenery and great level design. Some of the level is lacking, but other than that, it's a really well-designed level with a good premise. It's a B+. Yet another level I was fond of is the construction level. Not only does this level have Arnold freaking Schwarzenegger.
Oh, that gate needs repairing. Did you not hear it jingle all the way?
But the level is just a classic LEGO experience. It's all well executed, and the level has fun and interesting puzzles. And honestly, the mini-kits really shine in this level. It feels like you're playing an old LEGO game again because of the fun little Easter eggs they include and some of the builds you make. Some of the builds, you can make a LEGO person's head, you make the TT logo. It's great. It's just really fun to go through and play. B+. And the only other level I liked was the final level. The final level is awesome. You get to fight Rex Fury on the moon. That's fucking badass. And you also get to fight Blackwell. This is actually the main antagonist of the game who is kind of behind the scenes, and he's supposed to be a hidden bad guy. And you get to battle Rex Fury's T-Rex you stole for him while riding a mechanical robot. Need I say more? That is the coolest scene in the entire game. But however, it does come at a price. The actual fight between the T-Rex, though, is lame. Basically, you just throw a big bomb at the T-Rex, and then there's just a bunch of quick action timed events. If you ask me, this game really did not learn from Shadow of Mordor and its horrific final boss. The fight between you and Rex Fury, though, that is great. Throwing the corpses at him, beating him up, it's alright. I thought it was just like the T-Rex fight, but less interesting. The final part of the level, diving off the rocket as it falls apart back to Earth, is actually one of the best moments in the entire game. And honestly, it's so well executed, and it's a refresher from all the stuff you've done and seen up to this moment. The way you see Earth slowly come into frame as you're getting closer to it, the way that every continent is just detailed on the globe, is absolutely stunning. I give this level a B+. Some other smaller stuff that I like about the levels are the cutscenes. Honestly, the cutscenes are just very well done, and they're goofy in typical LEGO fashion. Namely, the junkyard scene with Natalia and the Sheriff Huckleberry scenes. Those are pretty good. And, of course, you can't forget my favorite, the Vinny freezer cutscene. Vinny being put in the freezer is actually so chilling, and it's so badass. It adds even more to the level than what I said before this. It's so worth it to play this level in its entirety. And it really goes to show just how bad of a person Rex Fury is, and it kind of shoves that in your face that, like, Rex Fury is not a joke, because he ordered these people to put Vinny in the freezer and take down this ice cream shop. Anyway, some more additional info to add about what I like in these levels is just the music, which just hits pretty much anywhere, to be honest. The music is just awesome. It has a pretty good soundtrack, solid soundtrack, nothing to complain about there. The gangs are also really well established and fun. They're designed pretty well, and I really wish the gangs appeared more, but in a lot of the levels, you are a criminal, so you end up fighting your own police officer buddies, and it's kind of dumb, but I really like the gangs. Another really good attention to detail that this game has is enemies that will interact with Lego objects. So basically, if you throw an enemy during a fight at any moment and they hit a Lego object, the Lego object will just break. I don't think any of the other Lego games do that from what I know, and it's a really cool detail that they added. It worked very well for a small attention to detail, and yeah, I really like that too. This Lego game also adds this thing called super builds in its levels, and unlike the builds in Lego Lord of the Rings, this actually costs a currency to build them. However, while that is stupid, there is a way to get the currency in the level, and it's basically just solving a puzzle and figuring out where to go to get these bricks and pick them up. So you can do the super build, like actually interact with it, and while you can just do it in the level if you really wanted to, if you have the currency for it, it's a lot more fun to do the puzzle to build them, unless you're going back in free play. And I think the puzzles are pretty excellent. It feels like an actual Lego level at that point, and it can take some time to figure out. And then there's one more change that they made in this Lego game that I found out. And typically in any Lego game, there's a max of 10 mini kits per level, but in this game, it's only 4. While I don't think this is necessarily a bad thing, as it can cause less annoyance with collecting mini kits, there is a dark side to it. And so, that allows a great segue into my next point. The game just isn't creative enough like its predecessors. I mean, in more ways than just one, too. There are no creative builds in this game. Hold up. Let me explain something real quick. Because before I get all these comments saying,
oh, but what about the super builds? What about the...
Alright, shut the fuck up. Half of the super builds are vehicle call-in points and helipads. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. Just shut up. Because normal builds and super builds are two different things. One requires a currency. The other one is in every single Lego game ever made. So, now that we got that out of the way, let me just tell you what you can create in this game. Now, I already talked about before. In the construction level, you can build like the Lego head, the duck, and the TT logo. In the scrapyard level, you can build like these little sculptures. Those are cool. Now, let's look at the dark side of it. Alright, so you can build a spring about 50 times to get to a higher point. You can build a color swapper for your color gun about 50 times. A teleporter for the astronaut. Pretty cool teleporter. Those builds are just not creative solutions to your problem. They're just very obvious. And I mean, it could be so much cooler than just that. Like, what the fuck? I get they made those objects for a reason, but the game overuses them. And I think that is really dumb, considering all of the Lego games before this one had creative solutions to their issues that they showed you. As I'm going to say, I know that games before this also had uncreative solutions at times, but this one is the most guilty of it, by far. I can build a bounce pad. I can build a staircase. I genuinely cannot explain this any better. The game just sucks at its creative builds, because I figure there's going to be a lot of comments about fucking super builds, but they're two different things, okay? Get that through your heads. I'm not repeating this point again, okay? Super builds and normal builds are not the same thing, and this Reddit post is absolutely incorrect. This is the most uncreative Lego game I've ever played. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up, get out of my head. As there are in many of the Lego games. There's no funny builds, nothing that is creative in the slightest. Like, for example, in Lego Marvel, to beat Venom, you create these big, giant boom boxes, and you create a big dubstep record player. That is awesome. And in this game, you just create obvious solutions that make sense. And they're all very predictable builds that you can make. Any child, any person can just guess what you're going to build to beat the level. It's like in the Lego Venom level if you decided to build a bell. And I mean, while that is the last build you make, that would be such an obvious solution because that's what happened in the movie. It was just the bell tower that was causing the symbiote to like freak out. So if you built a bell every time, that would be shit. but instead you build a giant boombox and a giant record player that plays dubstep music. While it's a dumb solution, it works very well for what LEGO games are. This game isn't interesting or fun when it comes to those builds, but that doesn't even begin to show my actual frustrations with this game. Collecting mini kits, character tokens, and the vehicle tokens is where the issues really shine. See, in these levels, it may be easy to collect them, but at the cost of general enjoyment and entertainment. Yeah, they're easier to collect in these levels, but it allows for little to no creativity in how these are achieved. Most of them are literally just locked behind one simple action you can do, like water a plant, drill a hole, break open a door. That's not really creative in how you get these mini kits. In some levels, it's done pretty well. It has like a subtle nod to Lego Batman, where you can mop the floor and clean up some messes to get a mini kit, or you can figure out a small puzzle that's pretty easy to understand to get a mini kit. But other than that, there's literally nothing. It's just one action, like breaking down a door with an axe, the crowbar, the plant. There's no soul in that. And listen, I know other LEGO games will also do this sometimes, where it's just locked behind one singular ability, but this one is the most guilty of it. It's almost every mini kit. And I mean, hell, LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga has done this, but it's not like every mini kit in that game requires little to no thought or creativity. Some in that game, and most, are challenging or requires some level of thought, and you may actually have to think outside of the box. In this level, there are none like that. It's all insanely straightforward, and I hate it. Let me just throw back to LEGO Star Wars Complete Saga again and use this as an amazing example. One of the best secrets in that game is the Bathing Troopers Easter egg, and that's an entire secret room. And they even have a nod to the Bathing Troopers in the cutscene. He appears again in the cutscene. But in this game, there are only 2 secrets like this. And this is a huge LEGO game. I mean, only 2? LEGO, come on, man. And these 2 secret areas are so bad. And I mean, one of them's a Donkey Kong reference, which is interesting, but I, no joke, ended up skipping 50% of that on accident. I wasn't even trying to skip it. I just wanted to get the mini kit, and I skipped the whole thing by flying with a jetpack, because I thought I had to use the jetpack to get there. And then there's another one, and it's just a secret room in the prison. And that one, you just have to, like, sweep the floor or mop the floor. Like, what the hell? Getting the collectibles in the levels just wasn't fun. The worst part is, I got most of the red bricks in the levels without even replaying the game. And that brings me to my next point. The red bricks are free. Yeah. You heard me. The cheats that usually take hours to get are free, making the entire game easier. And no, I did not put in a code. They are literally free. Whenever you unlock the red brick, you can enable them after the level is complete. I didn't have to pay anything. No studs. And again, throwing back to LEGO Marvel Superheroes, the 2x studs red brick is unlocked immediately, but you still have to get 1 million studs before unlocking it for the rest of the game. 1 million studs with no multiplier is not easy. Doable, but not easy. That's like 3 to 5 levels right there, if you collect every little stud. But in this situation, in LEGO City Undercover, for the rest of the game, I had ×8 studs. I was rewarded immensely for using a crowbar on a door. Twice. Yes, the ×2 red brick and the ×4 red brick are locked behind a door that you have to use a crowbar on. And you have the crowbar throughout the entire game. It makes you feel like the red bricks are utterly useless, and any value previously assigned to them in any LEGO game is just thrown out the window. Why are you rewarding a player this much for figuring out a simple feature of the first ability you unlock in the entire game? Another thing that really pisses me off about this game is how the game walks you through everything. There is a pointless cutscene every few minutes. Oh my god, it's ridiculous. They show literally every single door opening, every change in the environment. The game treats you like an idiot that can't figure out what is going on around you. And listen, the games are made for children. I get it. But a child does not even need their hand held this much. Let them figure out the puzzle. Don't pan the camera every 5 seconds during a level. On top of all of this, it is almost impossible to get Lego City Hero, that is the full stud bar, filled up on any level without the stud multiplier. Oh, now I get why the red bricks are free. Because the game fucks you! Granted, I only played 2 levels without the multiplier because the red brick is introduced in basically level 3. It's ridiculous. The actual objects don't drop studs. Yes, the objects you can destroy in the Lego game, they do not drop studs. Man, why? Why can't they drop their brick currency and studs at the same time? That's so dumb. You have to sorely rely on the developer to put the exact amount of studs necessary to get Lego City Hero. From pickups. From just pickups. Studs that they place around the level. That is so stupid. And there's other stuff that bothers me about the levels, such as how you can't actually kill any of the Lego guys, which I can get to an extent. You're a cop. But another flaw of the game is revealed here. Like, oh my god. You can break other laws in the game, so why not murder people too? How many times do you have to knock someone out for them to actually stay down? Why do they never stay dead? It's honestly so annoying, and it takes up so much time to put cuffs on all of them whenever they get knocked out. And this is just redinky-donk. But the fact that sometimes the enemies just get up straight after putting handcuffs on another guy is stupid. And I think this is a glitch or something. But honestly, I don't know at this point. Another mechanic that really needs improving in this game that they had perfected in other games is swinging on a fucking grappling hook. Let that sink in for a moment. They fucked up swinging on a grappling hook. How do you fuck this up, you may ask? Well, listen to this. Swinging doesn't work and isn't needed. Now, you may argue, oh, well, swinging isn't needed, so that's why it doesn't work. Okay, so let's go back to Lego Marvel Superheroes real quick. You can still swing on the fucking ropes in that game. You can swing on Spider-Man's webs, but you don't need to. This sucks, man. This mechanic that was added as far back as Lego Indiana Jones is just taken out. And these grappling spots aren't even needed. So why add them? Like, there's no point in having them if you have a fucking jetpack. Half of the time you try to swing on them, you basically just end up climbing up the grappling hook. Yeah, very cool to have a feature they didn't even use. Speaking of features that should work, however, why can't I throw dynamite in this game? Like, oh my god. I shouldn't even have to say this. I can throw it in any other Lego game, but not in this one. I have to place it in a bucket. That literally sucks. It's just unfortunate and a missed opportunity. Why have a miner that can have dynamite that he can't even throw? I'm pretty sure in every other Lego game, you can throw your explosives. But in this game, no, you can't. And I'm just going to be honest. It feels so lame to place it in the bucket. You literally just place it in the bucket, man. I'm not even joking. You only place it in the bucket and it blows up. It blows up in the bucket. I don't need to explain how stupid that is. I don't. I really don't. But now that I'm done complaining about aspects of the levels, let me just move on to specific levels that I really didn't like. First, we can start with the junkyard level. Basically, in this level, you rescue Natalia from one of the gangs. She got captured by Chang's gang. This level, you are accompanied by none other than Dumb and Dumber. These guys are great in their cutscenes, but oh my god, in the level, they are always in your way. They don't get pushed when you move into them, and they block your fucking path most of the time. Again, let's go back to any previous Lego game. Whenever you move into an NPC, they move with you because the game doesn't want them blocking the way. But in this one, no, they block your way the whole time. Move, you fat pieces of shit! Other than them making this level an utter nightmare, it's just such a boring level. They made infiltrating a gang's base so awful. Yes, this is a gang base. Why is it this boring? D-. The only other level that I straight up disliked was the firefighter level. This one reminded me of one of the Lego Lord of the Rings levels that I really hated. It's the one where you're going through the swamp and Gollum is telling you, come quickly, come hobbitses, come. That level sucks, and so does this one. Making a character nag at you, that doesn't make a good level. And in fact, it makes it fucking annoying. Who would have guessed? What this level tries to do is teach you the ways of being the firefighter, and it has you use your fire hydrant, which shoots water for some reason, and it also has you use your axe on a door that's boarded up by wood, and it has you put out a bunch of fire. But it's so short, and it has absolutely no point in being here. This level could just be taken out of the game or just revamped entirely. It sucks. It's literally the worst level in the game. There's no fighting, no nothing. It's just a pointless mess. It's an E. Now here are some bonus complaints that I have. So, in every other LEGO game, you may know there's a bonus or an extra level once you beat the game. But in this game, there are none. Yep, Darth Vader can invade a LEGO city. A giant android can destroy an entire civilization. But Chase, he doesn't even get a bonus level. Cool. The only quote-unquote bonus levels in this game are 2 minigames. You get to catch the robbers again. Yay, dude. Yeah, my favorite minigame, dude, ever. It's the best minigame. I love running into a robber's car over and over until he gets out and then catching him and then unlocking a car. Yeah, no. This shit sucks. And I only heard about it recently because of a YouTube short. And this was after I uninstalled the game, so no, I won't be playing these. And the only way that you can unlock these levels is by putting in one of those red brick codes at the police station. Are you fucking kidding me? What is that bullshit? Yeah, no. That's not happening. Oh, something I forgot to mention in these levels is that the levels are easy to go back to in this game, and this is another good aspect because of the jetpack. But basically, the jetpack makes everything easy to get in every level, which is why I was just able to skip 50% of the Donkey Kong Easter egg. The jetpack is the best item in the game, and it makes free play awesome. Okay, that's it. Now that I've talked about everything that has to do with the levels, I can move on to another part of the game. We've established that the levels are pretty bad, as most of them are forgettable. But what about the open world, the other biggest part of the game? Well, actually, surprisingly, I really enjoyed the design of the open world. It is a very well designed and awesomely detailed world. The buildings are unique and very cool to look at, in all honesty. It's not like Marvel's city where they just copy and pasted stuff from Marvel and made it in here. They made this city themselves, so they decided to add it, and it's a really cool city. The buildings are unique and really cool to look at. The city is vibrant and colorful, and some of the buildings just have this wow factor to them. Honestly, the twist at the end of the game where the rocket's actually in that big ass tower is such a well designed twist, and it's a really cool building to look at, and you do think it's a building throughout the entire game. And sure, they may have like the Leaning Tower of Pizza in here, but it's not just like the Leaning Tower of Pizza. Like, obviously it's not actually like that in real life. It's a really cool designed building, and this is honestly one of the best open world designs I've seen in any LEGO game. It's so detailed, and it's really cool. It actually just reminds me of the Saints Row 2 map. It's really fucking cool and well designed, and I can't believe it. It's massive. It's an absolutely massive map. There's a lot of detail and effort put into it. A lot of love and passion was put into creating this open world. Having the ability to fast travel is such an amazing addition that I don't think is really used in any LEGO game other than this one. The way you fast travel with the monorails and the ferries is kind of immersive, and it's a very good addition. And I don't think that's used in any LEGO game other than this one. And I know like LEGO Marvel has fast travel, but it is between like notable destinations on the map. It's not like a monorail system or a ferry system. And while the fast travel system in that game is good, it makes this one just more special and great. And around the map, they have these vehicle call-in points, which just allow you to call in any vehicle anywhere on the map. And I know these have appeared in other LEGO games, but it's honestly just handy and useful. And it's a nice feature that reminds me of the catch-a-ride stations from Borderlands and the rim jobs from Saints Row. It's a nice touch, and I'm glad that they added these even though there's a red brick to call in vehicles from anywhere. And speaking of vehicles, a small thing to note is how much detail and love went into these vehicle logos. They're honestly so cool, and they look great. It's a very small detail, but it didn't go unnoticed. On the flip side, let's check out what's bad about the open world, and let's go through it together. Most of the problems I have come when I was unlocking everything. So starting with the free runs, they're just utter garbage. These things force you to do the same shit you just completed, but again, faster without missing a single one of these clocks where you have to restart. It is one of the worst mini games I've ever had to do in any Lego game. It's not fun to do, and it's just boring, and it takes up so much time. It's not a fun activity at all. Let me break it down for you. Climb this building that you just climbed, but do it really fast. And then when you complete them, it fucks you and teleports you back to the beginning where you started this minigame. And I can't even count on one hand how many times I got reset from my position after completing one of these, needing to be where the finish line was. Basically, whenever I completed these, I forgot that they reset your position. I was like, okay, so I can complete the free run, and then I can go and rescue this pig, or I can get this vehicle token, or I can get this character token. And then it would just reset me back to the beginning, and then I would have to do the activity all over again. That is a shitstorm. That sucks. Most of the activities in general though are just boring in the open world. But the other worst thing are the races, and trust me, if I make this series into an actual thing where I review Lego games over and over, you'll not hear the last of these races. I fucking hate the races in the Lego games. Any Lego game, the races are just so uninteresting and they take up too much time. They're so boring and oh my god, I just can't do it. They're so bad. Most of the time, there's a damn glitch when I try to complete one of them in this game. It's too damn glitchy, and the amount of times I've had to restart some of these is ridiculous. I'm very glad they don't test these things before making them. It's so good! This game seriously lacks in activities, and one of the other bad activities is finding these damn pigs around the map because this farmer had, like, Himalayan pigs or something? What the fuck is a Himalayan pig? I don't know, but apparently, because they're Himalayan, they can climb and act like Spider-Man? I don't know. Man, it's stupid. They apparently get on these buildings, and then you have to fire them into a cannon and get them back to the farm where they belong. On top of that, the side mission of collecting them the first time sucks cock. Honestly, the first time you're introduced to these pigs, it's so bad. It's genuinely so bad. You have to collect like 4 or 5 of them off of this farm, and it cannot be any more uninteresting than that. I mean, I'm riding a pig back to a farm 5 times. And by the way, they missed an opportunity to make this really cool, and maybe if you rode one of the pigs, you could climb walls, but no. Nope. Whenever you ride them, the pigs can't climb walls, but apparently they just can. So it's a missed opportunity. It would be kind of cool if I could climb a wall while riding a pig. On a slight side note, the minigames they have around the world and in some levels are boring as fuck. Like the detective thing where it plays the same bass like 10 times in a row.
Super black around here.
Okay, don't fucking... Honestly, it's very uncreative, and it always ends up in finding a key or one of those super build bricks. And you always know where it ends as well, because you can't destroy the Lego object where the thing ends, and it's always either an icebox or a locker or a drawer. It's never anything actually interesting. Maybe it's a leaf pile sometimes. I mean, it's just awful. And yeah, it just ends in finding a key. In other Lego games, they are more creative than just finding a key every time. Like, what if one time in this game, I dug and I found a banana and I had to give the banana to a monkey? I mean, it's just simple additions like that. And that sounds stupid, but simple additions like that would be great. But no, it's always a key or a fucking brick. And honestly, this is just another aspect of being uncreative in a Lego game. One other thing that I do have to talk about is some of the general mechanics and gameplay. There are a few things I like that I haven't mentioned yet, which are the ground slams used by the miner. I mean, this is such a small thing, but it just reminds me of Lego Star Wars slams and how overpowered they are. They're cool, and they can dispatch Legos very quickly. Other things that I like some of the characters in the game that are just good and they're fun. I like Ellie, Blackwell, Chang, and Vinny, but that's about it. And if you take notice, I pretty much just named all of the bad guys. Yep, Ellie is the only good guy on that list. But she isn't annoying, and she isn't brain dead, so she's alright. She was cool. and I did like her, but that's where that list ends. Let's talk about the bad characters. We'll start with Frank. Frank is this buffoon who gets himself into trouble, and he always tries to be funny when he really isn't. He makes terrible jokes even for a Lego game. Like, holy shit, he's just annoying as hell, and I'm not even joking. Every time he'd talk, I'd take out my headphones because I didn't want to listen to his ass anymore. And I recently saw on a YouTube short that there was a guy who was like, "We've all done this in Lego City. We've all laughed at Frank's jokes." Yeah, so I guess if we've all laughed at Frank's jokes, I guess I'm the minority there, because I've never laughed at a single thing he's ever said. I've always taken off my headset when he started talking. Surprisingly though, other than Frank, I didn't really like Chase himself. Chase is arrogant, has a lot of bravado, and he's also just not appealing as a character. He's not very well developed, and for a Lego game, that can be fine, but dude, what? He is a cop that breaks laws and shit, but apparently he is still above killing people? Like, what? Anyway, he has absolutely no motivation to break laws other than Rex Fury equals bad. That's kind of weird to me, and he may take responsibility sometimes, but how does that explain him breaking into random people's garages and stealing their cars? How is he not fired? I mean, I get it. He's the only one on Rex Fury's tail, but oh my god, this could be done so much better. He's not a fun protagonist to play as. He's blander than a raw potato. They could literally force him to tell another officer about Rex. They could stop him from stealing a diamond. It's crazy how this game goes from playing as a cop to then playing as a criminal. And instead of just having two separate lines of work like they did in Lego Batman, where you could play as the villains and the heroes, you play as both the criminal and the hero at the same time. That's incredible, man. There are a few other characters that I didn't like, but I want to keep their explanation short. Natalia. She's annoying and she's a bitch. She's an uninteresting girl who Chase loves. Why, you may ask? Because she's hot, I guess? I don't really have an answer for that. Then there's the chief, who is just an asshole all the time for no reason. Glad you're working for a guy who doesn't even believe in you, even though he has good reason to, considering you're a criminal. And then there's this guy named Jethro Hayes, and he is the guy with the damn spider pigs. He's just a stereotypical redneck farmer who everyone thinks is crazy because he's seen aliens or something. If you ask me though, I think his pigs are the real aliens. I mean, have you seen them climb walls yet? Anyway, he's just annoying, and he's a poor example of a stereotypical redneck. Like, I live in the South, and no redneck I know actually does or says this shit. It's just dumb, and it's not really funny. There are a lot more characters that I don't like, but honestly, these are just the main ones. So I'll spare making this video any longer than it needs to be. And then here's just some additional stuff that bothers me about the gameplay that aren't characters. Like the random slow motion moments that are not needed. Why do we have these all the time? Like, seriously, they're just annoying and they don't need to exist. They're just there to slow shit down for no reason. They are here to try to make scenes look cool. At least that's my only explanation. But they utterly fail to do so. These mostly appear when jumping off of ramps, but there are a few times in gameplay where they just happened. Yeah, it's weird. Another massive gameplay criticism that I have for this game is just that it's too easy. I mean, yeah, some Lego games are just really easy, but I really mean this is too easy. I was never killed once by an enemy in this game. Not once. The only times I ever died was to falling off of things and having an insta-death, but once I got the fall rescue red brick, can you guess how many times I died? Once, because I forgot to turn it on one time. Yep, I died because I forgot to turn on the fall rescue red brick. Yeah, it's ridiculous how easy this game is. I mean, like, look at these other Lego games. Lego Star Wars Complete Saga may not be super hard, but at the very least it had some challenge. Like, do you remember fighting the bosses in that game? Some of the bosses were actually sort of challenging. I mean, they had a lot of hearts and they were decently hard to beat. What about Lego Batman, which is probably, the original Lego Batman is probably one of the harder Lego games. I mean, it may not be like super hard, but it's not exactly easy either. And Indiana Jones, the original one, was also pretty hard, relatively speaking. Like I said, none of the Lego games are necessarily hard, but they do pose some challenge sometimes. So let me ask this, what the hell happened whenever they made this game? The enemies just aren't threatening. They die in one punch, and in a group you can just spam the quote-unquote parry button, and they all get knocked down. You can't be canceled out of the handcuffing animation by being hit by the enemy. enemies. So what's the point? There aren't any insta-deaths other than falling into the void, which a lot of LEGO games have. I mean, you can count swimming out of the city and getting eaten by a shark. That's really it. That has happened to me before as well, but not often. It happened once, and it's not like the shark appears right at the coastline. It's further out. And I mean, this game really has nothing challenging to it. None of the puzzles are challenging, and apparently the game also agreed that the game was too easy, and they decided to make it even easier because they made 5 red bricks just to skip the puzzles and make them easier and skip them all together, showing truly how much of a waste of time they were. Physically and mechanically, the game isn't challenging. It's insane, and it feels like this game just simply wasn't tested at all. I had little to no fun playing it. To make my experience even better, the game crashed a total of 5 times during my playthrough, and I know crashes are sort of like expected in some games. Why here? Pirates of the Caribbean crashed a few times for me, and the crashes in Pirates of the Caribbean were a lot more devastating because they happen in actual levels and reset my progress. This is just adding on to a multitude of issues. At least I didn't mind replaying Pirates of the Caribbean whenever it crashed, because Pirates of the Caribbean still held up some fun, some standard of fun for me to have. I didn't want to reboot the game 5 different times just to play through it again. Like, what the fuck? Come on, LEGO. This even more solidifies my point that the game was not playtested. Luckily, however, my friend was there when it kept crashing, and he gave me some really good advice. I mean, I don't mind install and reinstall the game, so yeah. Wise words from a wise man. However, that does bring me to my final complaint about this game. This is probably the biggest piece of shit in video game history. Just sit down for a moment and let me explain this to you. The data scanner. Fuck this piece of shit. This hunk of junk is the damn thing you need to use to find every mini kit, every red brick, every token, everything, all the collectibles. It is the worst thing they could have ever done in such a massive open world game. This does not help you locate objects. The range is short as fuck. The camera pans too slow while you're using the data scanner, and it sucks ass. It is the most unpleasant thing ever using this item. What happened to those arrows that just point to the damn thing I need? Why is it like this? Why make this game so agonizing? And this game really, really needs those arrows. Because let me tell you, like I said before, the open world is massive. There are 450 gold bricks to collect. There are over 300 character tokens. There are 100 vehicle tokens. There are 40 red bricks, and they use the data scanner. One of the biggest LEGO games, and instead of using the arrows, they use a data scanner. I could barely find anything using this fucking scanner, and I'm not even joking. Most of the time, when I would use it, it would point out the paint gun machines and the super bricks to you. I don't need to see those anymore. I don't. I can find them while completing puzzles. While completing those shitty puzzles, I can find them. I don't need this. That just sucks donkey dick. At least give me the option to disable looking at the super bricks and the paint machines. Why even point out the paint machines in the first place? The red bricks are free. Why wouldn't I just get the super color gun brick and then have every color at my disposal? I don't need to see super bricks. Get out of my face, man. It's just not needed. This is a sloppy tool that functions poorly. I don't want this. And it was absolutely my least favorite part of the game. At least I had a teensy bit of fun playing the levels and exploring the city for the first time. But 100%ing the game was a nightmare. Fuck that bullshit. I'd rather scoop my eyes out with a rusty spoon and go blind rather than deal with this shit. Fuck 100%ing this game. Fuck this game. Fuck LEGO. Fuck Chance McCake. Fuck Frank Ocean. Fuck my ex. Fuck everything. This game sucks. Send it back down to the pits of hell where it belongs. Oh, and as an added bonus to the endless fuckery that is this game, LEGO Incredibles has more of the player base achieving 100% completion than this game. If that doesn't tell you how shit this game is, I don't know what does. It honestly hurts my soul to see so many positive reviews of this game, and most of them are just memes. LEGO GTA. So funny! It does not deserve the appraisal it is getting. It is outrageous the amount of positive reviews for this game. And And that concludes the review for LEGO City Undercover. So for the last portion of this video, I do want to say that obviously I don't hate the creators of this game, and I get it's for children, but that's not really a good excuse for it not to be a good game. Plenty of LEGO games are amazing. Like, dude, my uncle used to play them and he was 50. He played LEGO Indiana Jones and LEGO Star Wars. These games should be fun to play, and I think they should be more for everyone, as I know that they can reach wider audiences because so many people love LEGO. I don't mind them having child-friendly humor or anything, because, I mean, obviously it's gonna be made for kids because it's LEGO, but, like, make it silly funny, like I was saying before with the bathing troopers. It's a really silly but funny Easter egg. And I mean, the MCU does this pretty well. They have child-friendly humor for the most part. Why don't they just take notes from the MCU and make more of their jokes kind of like them? Don't make the game too easy, because then it's just not fun for anyone. I'd say this game is barely worth it for the story levels, and it's definitely not worth it overall. The game is a 4.5 out of 10 and receives a D rating for disappointment. I want to enjoy the game, but I just can't. Maybe if I was 10 again, I could, but I can't. I went back to play this, and I was sorely disappointed with this heap of garbage I was presented with, and played a bit as a kid. Just because the game is nostalgic doesn't make it good, unfortunately. And 10 years later, this game is still as disappointing as it was. Well, now it's time to put it back on the shelf and leave it to collect more dust. If you guys enjoyed this video and want to see more like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It took me 2 months to actually make this video, so I would be very appreciative if you could just show me some support after releasing this video, because like I said, it took me forever to make this. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and let me know if you want to see me rank another LEGO game next time, or a different game, or a movie, or a TV show. Just let me know, and I'll binge it, or I'll play it, and I'll throw my opinions out there on the internet. But yeah, these videos are pretty fun to make, so I wouldn't mind doing another one like this. Just let me know what you want to see next. Okay, goodbye.